Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, Secretary of Navy's out. Outgoing Secretary of Navy, I guess now. And there is a little bit of a discrepancy as to why. The administration says that his public statements did not match his private actions. And I could see that as being important from this administration that has always been so truthful and transparent. They're very keen on such things. And they wouldn't want anything to jeopardize that stellar reputation that they have. This is completely believable. He tells a different story. He says, I cannot in good conscience obey an order that I believe violates the sacred oath I took in the presence of my family, my flag, and my faith to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And this is interesting. This discrepancy is probably worth looking into for historical sake. But it's moot. Doesn't matter anymore. The reason these admirals took this stand was because they were worried about good order and discipline. That's what they were worried about. They were worried about the message that was sent when the president, the commander-in-chief, interfered. And if you believe it was justified, use whatever term you want to use in these proceedings. They were worried the message it was going to send. They were worried how the rank-and-file troops were going to see it. But that doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. 4 hours ago, the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, tweeted, I was not pleased with the way that Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher's trial was handled by the Navy. He was treated very badly, but despite this, was exonerated on all major charges. I mean, yeah, I guess in a relative sense that's true. I mean, when you're comparing things to murder, I mean, yeah, everything else seems kind of minor. The reality is, he was found to have posed with an enemy prisoner's corpse. It's not a major thing, not a big deal, not even worthy of a demotion. And I know, there might be some people saying, well, is it a big deal? Those photos are taken for bragging rights. They're shown around. Eventually they get out. And when they do, they create propaganda for the opposition. Look what they did. Crystallizes the fighters, crystallizes their resolve. You don't want to end up like that. You better fight harder. The local populace, when they see that, what do they think? Do they side with their countrymen? Or do they side with the people posing with a teen? The thing is, it's not the Secretary of Defense, it's not the Commander-in-Chief that has to deal with the fallout from that tweet, because this went out to everybody, because the President, the Commander-in-Chief, gives orders via tweet. Everybody saw this. Every country. We're now all aware of it. And yeah, sure, somebody's going to say, well, you know, they were doing it already. Yeah, some of them were. Now all of them will. We lowered the bar. We can't pretend that we're different. Can't pretend we have a moral high ground. It's going to be very hard to run counterinsurgency operations now. It's going to be hard to gain the support of the local populace. Because, hey, it's not a big deal. And I know there might be somebody saying, is there really that much psychology? Does it really play into that much? Yeah, it does. If you don't believe me, how did you feel when the enemy prisoner that was killed and a knife was used was an American in an orange jumpsuit? How'd you feel about those photos? Bet it altered your perception. Changed the way you looked at things. It'll happen. It will happen. So, yeah, while the discrepancy is interesting, doesn't matter. The standard has been set. This isn't a big deal. No demotion, nothing. They're not even going to bounce you out of the unit. One guy has done more damage to this country's moral compass than any other president in history. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.